Zimbabwe, a land filled with diversity and beautiful landscapes. Once the breadbasket of Africa, now in the midst of the ravaging effects of climate change, which has devastated the agricultural landscape across the world. And the ones that are most impacted are the farmers in our community who show signs of financial burdens from this ever worsening phenomenon.
As evidence, according to the World Food Programme, the COVID-19 pandemic and the Russian-Ukraine war has caused a 40% increase in fertilizer prices in Zimbabwe due to the escalating cost of raw materials, as Russia is one of the major exporters to Africa.
Sadly, according to FAO, over 11,700,000 Zimbabweans rely on small-scale farming, and 8 million of them live below the poverty datum line of $90 per day. Sustaining their families becomes difficult, let alone fertilizing the land. Therefore, they need a new fertilizer to work on their farms.
And this showed us our first problem. Our farmers needed an alternative fertilizer.
And from the International Fertilizer Society, approximately 2.1% of the total emission of greenhouse gases is caused by synthetic fertilizer production, causing the depletion of the ozone layer, contributing to climate change.
According to FAO, over 40% of African agricultural land is degraded due to the over-reliance on synthetic fertilizers, causing soil acidification, natural soil nutrient depletion, leading to reduced crop yield.
And as cited by FAO and Global Forest Watch, Zimbabwe is an alarming 2.7% rate of deforestation. And in 2022 alone, we lost 8.26 kilohectares of tree cover due to human activity.
And all this brings us to our second problem. Agriculture should not contribute to climate change.
Covering 2,103 kilometers invested in key requirement analysis, we attended 9 provincial field days, and with the help of agri-tax officers, we conducted surveys through the distribution of questionnaires based on agricultural practices. The findings were incredibly disheartening and alarming.
DAP Frontline Institute, an international organization, enlightened us on ways to improve the livelihoods of women, youth, and marginalized communities through sustainable agriculture, organic farming practices, and project management. This was through the engagements we made with their delegates.
Now the million-dollar question becomes, how can we provide sustainable organic products and practices, conserve the environment, and at that same time, keep the profit agenda?
Picking from the concept of a circular economy, a matrix of solutions arise, which harnesses all potential from organic resources. We call this
The Organic Bucket.
A project which is split into 4 divisions, which we call phases. It addresses the problems of the people, ensuring a safe planet, and at the same time, yielding us profit.
My colleagues and I love to call the first phase agricultural input. This phase focuses on the production of organic liquid fertilizer and organic pesticides, focusing on bringing costs down and productivity up with the zero harm to the environment. We collected animal droppings and essential plant biomass from our school farm, which we perfectly fermented in specific ratios to yield the best nutrient result. Our fertilizer showed a concentrated level of potassium and phosphorus, but a little nitrogen. This pushed us to find out ways of how we could increase the concentration of nitrogen in our fertilizer. We discovered that rabbit urine and sesbania contained high levels of nitrogen, hence we added it to our product.
And Ray, the results from the Department of Research and Specialist Services in Zimbabwe showed a perfect harmony of nutrients within this newfound solution. And our pesticides focus on providing organic, healthy foods and non-toxic chemicals. We extracted essential active oils and rabbit urine extracts to create this. And these have worm, spider, and aphid repelling effects.
And with 6,375 hours invested in this project, we managed to produce 11,500 liters of the organic liquid fertilizer. And about 500 liters was used in the community demo plot. And the remaining 11,000 was sold at $2.75 per 5 liter, generating an income of $6,050 at maximum capacity. Within our industry, we have a potential of producing 15,000 liters within 3 days, meaning each year would have produced 1,800,000 liters of the organic liquid fertilizer, generating an income of $990 per year.
A bag of synthetic fertilizer costs $94 compared to 50 liters of our organic liquid fertilizer, which costs $27 and covers the same amount of land. Our product proved to be 70% more efficient compared to the alternatives the farmers were using. In terms of application, our farmers were urged to dilute a concentrate of 1:10 parts water. And in terms of productive efficiency, using 71% less money, our smallholder farmers managed to fully utilize their land compared to when they were using synthetic fertilizer. Our organic pesticide generated a total of $3,300, and by the end of this year, we are projecting a total income of $43,000 through our partnerships.
This year alone, we engaged 441 households, and 212 of them had an increased average weekly income from $30 to $105, giving a grand total of $22,260. And through teaching them about sustainable agriculture, we were able to implement SDG goal number 2 and 12 respectively. We also increased their income by 66%, gave them access to organic healthy foods, and at that same time improving their soil structure.
The second phase of this project is clean and affordable energy. To mitigate the problems associated with deforestation and high use of fossil fuel, we harvested essential plant biogas from our fertilizer, which was being used as an energy source in most households, since it proved to be environmentally friendly and cost-effective. Munashi, this resulted in a 32% decrease in deforestation in several communities, reducing carbon emission, since biogas has an 88% less emission rate, implementing SDG goal number 7 and SDG goal number 15. We also implemented afforestation by planting sesbania, one of our key raw materials.
The third phase of our project is called animal rearing, where we invested in education and proper rearing facilities. We also opened a new industry which Diana has fallen in love with and would like to call it the organic meat industry. We also engaged in extensive education through engaging with local and community radios that have a coverage of 359 kilometers and a listening in audience of over 3 million people, further implementing SDG goal number 4. We then engaged with the students in high schools in Zimbabwe, who then were enthusiastic enough about organic farming practices, and we ended up creating a junior Enactus club for Zimbabwe.
The final phase of this project, climate action, focuses on combating plastic pollution by creating biodegradable plastics from biopolymers. With Zimbabwe producing 1.65 million tons of waste and 0.3 being plastic waste, we aim to reduce this significantly, furthering the fight for climate action. With 5 tons of waste being redefined as valuable products, we have made sure to crown ourselves as the pioneers of the 3 R's of a circular economy model, addressing SDG 11, 13, 14, and 15.
As part of our future plans, we want to scale up production to meet the growing demand of organic liquid fertilizer. And if we get 1 million capital injection, we want to grow from 11,500 liters to 1,800,000 liters in a year.
Moving on, Diana, we want to establish animal rearing units for easier access to rare materials. Furthermore, we also want to venture more into tree planting, which will not only benefit us, but the community at large. Lastly, we want to improve our technological agricultural aspects, such as thin hydrogeofilm, hydroponics, and aeroponics to combat climate change.
To summarize our journey, we recycled 5 tons of agricultural waste. We directly impacted 441 households. And we also indirectly impacted 1,162,000 Zimbabweans. We have also managed to project an income of 1,033,000 by the end of next year.
My name is Enactus. I'm from Mozambique. I learned more for students for university about organic farming and liquid manure.
Liquid organic fertilizer inoita kuti miriwo yangu ikurumidze kukura plus inenge yakasvibira zvokuti zvinofadza maziso. Then gore ndaiwana ndisati ndakushandisa liquid fertilizer ranga rakadzikira zvokuti pavhiki ndaigona kuwana $30 asi iko zvinezvi ndakukwanisa kuwana mari inoti 80 and above.
What the organic bucket has been able to achieve this year was to put 2 farmers in the same complex. A marginalized farmer can now have all the inputs they want through a circular economy where they grow their own trees for their fertilizer and use animal droppings. And commercial farmers are able to get products that are tested and proven for high quality produce. And we are
Enactus Zimbabwe.
We will now begin the question and answer session. Only judges may ask questions. Judges, please raise your hand if you wish to ask a question. Kindly wait for myself to hand you a microphone, and then before asking your question, state your name and organization.
Hi, George Tsiadis from Resolution Project. What's your marketing and distribution strategy to go from, sort of 11,000 liters to 1.8 million liters? What's the marketing and distribution strategy for getting that much product out the door?
Thank you. For us, it's easier for us to distribute the fertilizer since we already have a distribution system at our school, which we are currently using, which they deliver the product from our farm and using a network of farmers that we already have since we come from a farming district where we then distribute to the farmers who are already buying from us. And we are thinking of expanding outside of our local province into the rest of Zimbabwe and SADC. As you have seen, we've been engaging students from Mozambique and Kenya and all over Africa.
Hi, David from Basel Crypto Bank. I don't understand if the project right now is in phase 1 and the rest are only ideas.
The phasing, we're using phase as a noun, not as phase. It's a noun, meaning these stages are concurrent. They actually run because they feed into one another. You need the animals for us to get the fertilizer. We also need to plant the trees for us to add the Cispania into our fertilizer to then get a final product. So they are all concurrent. And the biogas is extracted from the production of the fertilizer during the fermentation. So they are all concurrent. Phase is just a noun.
My name is Petra Hissink from Kozen here in the Netherlands, an agri-food cooperative. Congratulations with achieving the top 16 in the presentation. My question actually builds on the previous question because I like the circularity and the way all the phases connect to each other. But if you want to scale up, do you have a clear picture where you have to put the most effort first in prioritizing?
In terms of scaling up, we are going to put more emphasis on the production of the fertilizers and the pesticides since they bring more revenue into our business streams and they are the only sellable products that we are producing. So we actually have plans, and Tino is a brilliant chemist who has developed the whole plant for the production of the fertilizer and the pesticides.
Hi, Claire from Arla. Congratulations on the presentation. I'm really interested in how you plan to develop the infrastructure in terms of collecting more of the animal droppings that sort of start the circle, if you like. As you scale up, that's obviously quite a lot of poo.
So in Zimbabwe, we are fortunate that most of the people in Zimbabwe have got at least 2-3 kettles at their house. So we have created a distribution network where these people keep all of this manure and then they deliver it to us for a certain price, which then helps them to actually earn something from waste.
Congratulations, Team Zimbabwe. George Jumo from Tech Global, Washington, D.C. I'm always on sustainability. I just want to know, starting the whole project, how much have you spent? And I just see what you're trying to yield in 2024. I want to know how much you feel in 2023. And is it in Zimbabwe dollars or US dollars?
So in our current project, it might be difficult for us to then have a clear figure of how much we used, since, as you can see in our annual report, we got a lot of support from the institution for us to then have the projects running, from transport cost and all that. But we had pegged our production cost of the fertilizer at $1 per 5 liter, considering all the fixed assets that we have and all the transport that we used.
So with your answer, so how were you able to project your profit for 2024 whilst you cannot account for the expenses and your capital, and you are projecting $990,000 US dollars? Is it US dollars or Zimbabwe dollars?
Time has expired. Judges, please join me in thanking the team from Enactus Zimbabwe.